along to most Japanese songs. When they have an English line, my lungs are there.
You felt that.
Yeah.
You yell out that you are a fighting dreamer.
Yeah. Blanco, can you introduce the show? I don't feel like it this week.
Wow. Okay, sure. Hello, howdy. This is Modular Components. I'm your host, Boingo. There's several other hosts, but we... fuck me. I can never remember the right order to do this.
That's
Make
Snow
sure
Code. I'm Buster.
And we have
we're
a
here to
guest.
make you. And yeah, we have a guest, and we're here to make you feel sad and shit. Introduce yourself, guest.
Hello, I am Ruby Seals. I run the YouTube channel Codex Entry.
Yeah. I just thought, hey, I know Ruby a bit, so just let's get to know her more through a podcast, because that's all I know how to get to know people. Just shove them in my podcast.
I have personally found it's a very efficient method.
Yeah. Codex, like I guess you started off as like a game reviewer thing, not review analyses. Reviewer feels like doesn't really describe what you do.
I mean, critic is all encompassing.
Yeah, critic is encompassing, but like you start off as like a game analysis girl, but now you've kind of been like expanding your reach with freaking, like, I know the theater. I want to talk to you about the theater video you made, because I thought that was really interesting. And like, I just want to ask, what was your like history of that kind of the more theatrical elements that you're putting into your channel more?
So I would say my channel started basically as like a game design thing. Like, I really wanted to do it as a thing to like unpack and explore and kind of teach myself game design. I did pull a fair amount of inspiration from Game Maker's Toolkit back in the day. But in parallel to that, when I started up the channel, I started it up around the same time I was finishing up my my degree, which was for theater arts, because I don't make good decisions.
Yo, same. Technical
right?
theater.
But yeah, no. And after that, I just kept doing the channel, and I tried to. Honestly, I feel like it took me a long time to land anywhere near a style that really felt correct to me. And it wasn't until I started integrating more of the theater stuff, especially around like the release of the first Pathologic video and all of that, that I started to genuinely feel like, oh, okay, here we go. This is mine. I can work with this.
Yeah. Because also, like, there's, like, I think a lot of your videos are good, but there's a noticeable, like, shift in terms of presentation with that first Pathologic video to, like, from, like, everything before and after, It kind of, like, I guess because, like, a lot of things in your life were changing at that point?
Yeah, no, kind of. I mean, it was, first and foremost, it was 2020.
Yeah.
So had a lot of free time and had a lot on my mind. And it was also, it was at a point where I could tell I was kind of dissatisfied with my own channel. I'm kind of perpetually dissatisfied with my own channel, because I always want to be doing something better. I always want to be making something better than what I last made. But this especially, I'd say this is one of the few times I came really close to seriously considering like quitting YouTube, was around 2020, just because like I kept looking at the things I was putting out, and I was just like, this just isn't clicking with this. This doesn't feel like this doesn't feel right. This, most importantly, this doesn't feel like something I would click on. It doesn't feel like something that if I saw it in the wild, I would be like, I need to watch this. So what I ended up doing is I stepped back and I asked myself, okay, what kind of content is really jumping out at me right now? What am I rewatching on repeat while I'm doing other things? What kind of YouTube work is really like grabbing my attention? And the two big things I kind of landed on were, one big one at the time was another YouTube channel called Black Pants Legion, who does BattleTech lore videos. And I am not a fan of lore videos. Not to badmouth them, of course. If someone makes lore videos, complete respect. It's just not my thing. Generally speaking, I much more prefer to like go to the source for those kinds of things. But this channel, the guy who runs it, Tex, does a very interesting thing that really jumped out to me, which is that he frames the lore discussion as effectively an in-universe history lesson taught by him, a mercenary who has been hired to play teacher for everyone in the class who is you. And that framing really jumped out to me as I like that. I can do something adjacent to that. That really excites me. And the other thing that I realized that I was very consistently watching were just long form, like, unpacking of stories from a personal perspective, where the stories themselves were utterly, like, deranged, for want of a better term, just like utterly feral. Like, one of the big ones that really jumps out to me in my memory is Doublecast had a series called When Posting Goes Wrong, and posted a video about this old Tumblr drama called Miscribe. And it is one of the most unbelievable stories I have ever heard anyone tell. But she in this video told it with so much personality and so much, like, heart, for want of a better term, that it perpetually grabbed my attention. And I really, after all of that, I kind of asked myself, how can I bring this into my own video, and what could I even apply that kind of thing to? And as I was thinking that to myself, that was around the first time I was finishing Pathologic 1 for the first time. And I was just like, I have a really dumb idea, and it's really irresponsible, and it's going to be like 2 hours, and it's probably not going to go anywhere, but I really want to roll dice on it because it's the only idea that's really exciting me. And that's where the first Pathologic, for those who will never play it, came from.
And as someone who will never play Pathologic, thank you for the video.
My pleasure. It was made for you.
Because I love these kind of symbolism and all this kind of stuff, but I am also a little baby bitch when it comes to horror stuff.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things, like, I especially after having made it, I genuinely realize how many people there are with especially stuff like Pathologic who are very eager to engage. They really want to see it, but, like, be it a matter of time, be it a matter of focus, be it a matter of anxiety, any number of very understandable and justifiable reasons that just prevent people from, throwing themselves into the torture device that is a game like Pathologic.
Yeah, because I've never been good at horror games. Like, to give an example, have you ever played Tony Hawk Underground?
Yes.
Do you remember the very early on, there's a stealth section where you have to steal your skateboard back?
Oh, yeah.
Child me was deathly afraid of that section. I have vivid memories of my heartbeat rising during that, just going, fuck this.
I can understand that. I have some early memories of Mega Man Legends terrifying the hell out of me.
I also my
god, Mega Man.
Yeah,
I know exactly the moment too, like the hallways.
I will say I replayed Mega Man Legends a couple months ago, and, like, that tone is immaculate. Like,
I really want there to be a legacy collection for those games.
I want it so bad. It's not going to happen because of, like, 2 licensed images they can't be bothered to change, and also they hate Legends.
Oh yeah, because and granted, it's been like 10 years since the freaking, what's his name?
Keiji Inafune.
Keiji Inafune.
No, Inafune. Yeah, duh.
Yeah, Inafune did that massive, what I call a massive troll moment with Legends 3 3DS.
Pranked, bro.
Thanks, Inafune.
I totally made this company think that they had to cater to the American taste.
And now he apparently ruined the Azuri Striker Gunvolt series because he directed 3 and apparently nobody liked it, from what I heard. I could be completely wrong because I have been wrong before, but from what I hear, not a lot of people like that game.
You know what? Maybe he should have stopped at drawing the portraits in Street Fighter 2.
He really should have. No, Street Fighter 1 was it? Was
it Street Fighter 1? I thought it was.
Yeah, Street Fighter 1.
Alright then.
Yeah. There's a... See, we watch the same YouTuber who's discussing Street Fighter at the moment, so... Yeah.
Speaking of, like, what are some of your favorite games? Like, you don't have to say, like, this is my favorite, but, like, you've made big, long very in-depth videos on Pathologic and Signalis and things of that nature. What are your go-to these games?
I'm very big into Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy broadly holds a very special place in my heart. If I were to make a top 25, I have, of course, like all true gamers, I have the 5x5 grid of my favorite games lying somewhere on my hard drive. But there's only 2 Final Fantasy games on there because I recognize if I put all of my favorite Final Fantasy games on there, it would just be half of the list, which would almost defeat the point. But like very big into that. Huge fan of 14 and 9 especially. I fully expect that Rebirth is releasing in about a week from the time of recording. I'm going to be a ghost.
Yeah.
I'm
Good
very
thing we got
happy
you
I
on
got this
before
video
that.
done in time. I'm glad I got the Ava video finished. Yeah, there's that. Overall, if I had to pick one favorite, it would probably be Bloodborne. That's another I replayed relatively recently, and there is not a moment of that game I don't love. Huge fan of Nier Automata. Huge fan of the Zero Escape series.
Been meaning to get into that series because I really like those kind of like visual novel like for lack of a better word, gamify visual novels.
Yeah.
Well, they're puzzle visual novels because it's like in the same vein as Phoenix Wright and the hotel game with the pencil drawn characters.
Have you wanted to do escape rooms before reading a visual novel? Boy, do I have the game for you.
Ooh, oh boy. I'm down.
But huge fan of those. One of my pet favorites that no one knows about, Buster, I think you might already know the one I'm about to say, Shadow Hearts Covenant.
Yeah, I think you talked about that a couple times. Like, actually, I didn't know exactly. I still need to play that one, but yeah, it does look interesting.
It is a part of it, I freely admit, is a blend of nostalgia and a blend of me feeling like it's deeply underappreciated. Because I'm the only person who loves that game. I am the only person I have ever met who's just like, yeah, no, I will go to bat for Shadow Hearts Covenant. It is goated with the sauce I needed in my life.
Yeah, but the fact that you assume I know the game probably. Yeah, but the fact that you assume I already know the game, that's a high recommendation. That's like, oh, I gotta check this out eventually. Like, this might be good.
Yeah, no, to me, it has probably the best combat of any JRPG I've ever played. And I really adore the cast. I really adore the characters. The setting is very interesting. It's set during World War One. And you play as a Lovecraftian god who is trying to save his soul from being erased. And also Princess Anastasia and Geppetto are some of your party members. It's cool. It's really cool.
The Russian Anastasia?
Yes, that one. That Princess Anastasia. And Rasputin is a major villain. This is part of why I love Shadow Hearts Covenant. Every fact I could tell you about the game would make it sound faker.
You know what? It's giving me a lot of Hellboy vibes, though.
Kind of. Honestly, good comparison.
Because, like, what is Hellboy but, like, a Lovecraftian god character trying to be a redeemable person?
And it's also got kind of that same, like, the main character, Yuri, kind of has that same, like, he's a Lovecraftian god, but he's kind of also got that punk biker vibe to him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because look at the character designs, it's still very, like, 2000s JRPG.
Yeah, very much.
It's like, that's a vibe I love, so yeah.
It is a very specific. Oh, you love vibes, Cody? All right then.
Well, thanks, Codes.
No problem, buds.
Try to focus because oh my god, I'm sweating. I don't know why I'm sweating. It's just very hot in this room.
Because we're interviewing a cool person, Buster. That's why you're nervous.
Aw, that's very flattering.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Okay, we usually get guests from our own like little circles of interest and influence. And Buster has brought in some guests before that I had to go like, oh, okay, cool, let me check this person out. You're the first person Buster said, like, hey, I got this person as a guest. I was like, oh, sweet, I already watch your content. I've already seen several of those videos. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I'm very happy to be one of the first guests who you intuitively recognize. That genuinely means a lot to me.
Yeah, it's really good. A lot of your presentations are just also really nice, really inspiring. Because again, like I joked earlier, I'm a technical theater student, so I was always doing the set building and that kind of stuff. But I did learn all the history and the movements and shit. So
yeah, no, very nice. Like, one of my big regrets was not doing more tech when I was still in theater. I wasn't even a good. I was just focused on the form. I was just focused on history, which probably I guess paid off in the end. I wasn't a great actress either. I did like 2 plays in my entire time in college.
Our school is small enough that basically we were able to just tell all the actors, hey, by the way, once a week you're in the shop, you're working.
You see, I had a program that was moderately sized enough that if you didn't find a way to force yourself into a production,
Yeah.
We'll call you if we need you. We'll call you if we need you.
Yeah. No, we were very small, very close knit. So like, I'm trying to remember certain things. It gets a little fuzzy because I was fucking goddamn hate this horn I have to toot. I was one of the better carpenters of the shop. So oftentimes it was, hey, Boingo, go do this task that takes a lot of detail and concentration away from everyone else. So it's like, who was there? What did we do? Like I did all the crown molding for Adam's family.
Oh damn!
All the crown and floor molding. So I did all the molding.
That's an elaborate production, right? Like that's like super.
Well, yeah, especially because the set we did was basically, what was it, 15, 20 feet tall, 2 stories with a stair. We made a fucking Adam's house.
And a family.
We turned that Adam's house into an Adam's home.
Yeah.
But Jesus Christ, that production was fucking. There was one time the lighting had gotten so behind that the lighting designer basically asked everyone, "Hey, could we just stay behind so I could set some things up so we can I can aim and shit?" And everyone was like, "Yeah," because we were all friends. And they needed someone tall, but we didn't have anybody tall enough, so it was like, "Hey, you Boingo, go sit on this stool." Because I could take a break from what I was doing. I was like, "All right, cool." So I was sitting on the stool, and then like 5 minutes later, they were going like, "Hey, Boingo, what? You fell asleep? Oh shit, fuck!" It was like 3 a.m. It was It was
yikes.
Oh no, there were several times where we were there till 3 to 4 a.m. just working on projects.
Yeah, no, like I can't pass judgment on anyone because I've been in the exact same scenario. There have absolutely been times when like I was on a production, especially when I was like doing, because like I also spent a lot of time during my college years doing like side projects and film, like student films, that kind of stuff. Just because I was always eager to like, let's make something. Let's go make something. We're all here because we want to be creative. Let's go make something. And like, there were definitely more than a few occasions where it's just like, oh, hey, the sun's coming.
Oh, yeah. I remember there was one time I was working on a scenic painting project, and it was like 3 a.m., and then all of a sudden the fire alarm goes off. Cody, you were there too. You were in the visuals studio, weren't you?
Nope.
You weren't there?
I don't
could have swore you were. No, I could have swore you were there because basically some people in the costume department had decided to make some pizza pockets, and they left them in the oven too long, and they got burnt and set off the fire alarm, and security was not happy with all of us.
Yeah, because it
Oh no.
it also screwed up our side of this. Or they didn't let performing arts for fucking studio art. They didn't let us studio artists stay late.
Yep. Partially it was because I think the security guard couldn't figure out how to turn off the alarm. And they were just like, fuck all this shit, fuck all you kids, get out of here.
That's deeply frustrating, but imagining a security guard trying to turn off the alarm and not knowing how is slightly inherently funny to me. I won't lie.
Oh, it was that theater was always a little jank. we always had to be careful with fog and haze machines, because if you go a little too hard, a little too fast, immediately it would go off.
Ouch.
It was a theater built in the fucking 60s, I think. But
I guess we could like talk about something. Oh, actually, Ruby, this is completely just a me question, but I know you finished Final Fantasy 16,
Yes.
and I want to talk to you about it because I
Yeah.
also finished the game too. Like we probably don't have to go into spoilers because I don't think Boingo's played it. Not sure if Snowdy will.
I probably
Yeah.
won't remember it even if you do spoil it.
All right. So the final battle is Gurren Lagann. Not exactly. That's actually like a midway point through the game. That's Gurren Lagann. But
Yeah, no, I was very surprised at the Charizard cameo.
It's yeah, oh my god. Yeah, honestly, playing through 16 is the reason I started 14. That's how good 16 was for me. I'll admit, like I wasn't really vibing with it at first because I don't know. It's just it takes a bit to get going.
You weren't vibing with 14?
No, 16.
Oh, 16, yeah.
Yeah,
No, it definitely it's it starts slow. As do most of the Final Fantasies, but you know.
Yeah. Well, like even then, like you have and stuff like 7 or 8, you got like big action set pieces to kick you off, or even 15, you have a really neat emotional moment. But like 16, just kind of like okay, there's a lot of battling, there's a lot of stuff, and then it's like even the big, I don't know, it just wasn't hitting with me even after the time skip, you know.
Yeah.
But like the more I thought about it, the more I kind of played through it, the more I'm like, the more you got like more like summon abilities. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a game that gets better the further into it you get. I really enjoyed it. I oddly enough, I find it funny that you say that push you to do 14. Because like I feel like my biggest frustrations with it come from the fact that I am such a big fan of FF14.
Oh.
Because like great game, but also I can tell it's hard for me not to see it as y'all are trying to take Shadowbringers and Endwalker and like really condense that down into something that's like digestible to people who don't want to play a single game for 500 hours. Like
Yeah, like
which is a great thing to do, and I think it does it really, really well. But it also means that like a lot of the thematic ground FF16 touches on, not all of it, of course, but like a lot of the stuff it's trying to talk about was also stuff that was talked about in later FF14 expansions very thoroughly. So I'm just like, this is really great. Can we play a new song?
Well, isn't that true of a lot of like Final Fantasy? They touch on thematic elements repeatedly of like. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just more saying like, isn't that a thing already in the franchise?
No, it absolutely is. But like I'll put it this way: FF14 and FF9 have a lot of thematic parallels when you hold them up side by side. They're very existentialist works. They are very concerned with what makes someone human, what the value of being human is, and all kinds of different other things. But for me, the angles that like FF9 and FF14 approach those questions from are very different. They are very separated.
Like tonally different, you'd say?
They are very tonally different.
It's the same song being sung by two different bands.
It's the same song in two different genres.
Yeah.
Is the way I would almost put it. Because like, you know, they're pointing in the same direction thematically, but they're coming to the same conclusion for radically different reasons, you know. Without getting into spoilers, to fully explain that statement, we'd be here on a full FF14 tangent. But like,
there's a reason people make like multi-hour videos on this.
There's a reason that's my dream project. That's when that one day.
Everybody go support Ruby on Patreon so they can eventually do that.
Oh, thank you. But yeah,
and I can watch it and enjoy it.
It will definitely come. It's something that's rarely far from my mind. It's just a matter of getting Pathologic off the table first. But
that's the problem with these very deep, rich games with all these ideas. It's just like to talk about it in any respectable way, you have to go so in depth and long.
Yeah. No, I mean that's literally where the pathologic videos came from, is like I had one of the worst cases of like brain worms I've ever had in my life after finishing pathologic, because it's so thematically dense and nuanced and rich. I needed to talk about it in some capacity, but also it's such a well-constructed work that so thoroughly, like, every piece is interconnected. Every piece reinforces the other. Every piece contributes and bolsters and reinforces to create something that's like a greater whole than the sum of its parts. So if I were to try and turn to an audience that knew nothing about Pathologic and just be like, "Oh yeah, no, game is really good because you play asshole." Like, it kind of gets it across, but it really doesn't. And that's when that's when I was like, what if I just do a massively in-depth summary and turn it into like a show production thing and just go to town with it?
Yeah. I know you described it once as like you basically just made an entire like adaptation of Pathologic, for lack of a better word.
Community theater production is how I like to phrase it.
Yeah.
Primarily because like an adaptation to me implies that it could
Changes.
serve as a substitute for the original, which I very much don't think is the case here.
True.
Because like, as proud as I am of it, like there is a reason why I tell people at the end, you should still go play the game even after watching this. Both because even as in-depth as I get, there's still inevitably stuff that gets missed, but also just because like the experience of playing it cannot be fully, you get a sense of it from the video. You get a taste, you get the idea, you get the impression of it, but it's still not the same as like actually playing it yourself, I feel. Especially with a game that is as like mechanically tone driven as something like Pathologic.
Yeah.
So I did the completely reasonable thing and made 7 hours about it.
Yeah. And counting. And counting.
And counting. Horrorspec is coming. I just got done rewatching some Chekhov plays. It's gonna be great.
Oh, there's a loaded gun for us.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna have some fun.
Yay.
Everyone go watch The Seagull. Everyone should go watch The Seagull. It's really good.
I still haven't seen The Seagull. I've been meaning to get to it.
I watched it in not high school. I watched it in college, and it kind of ran through me in the way that, you know, so many of the plays you watch in college do. But like rewatching it this time, like that is an immaculate play, very much about it. Well, it in the great like history of all fantastic Russian art is about how living in Russia sucks.
Yeah.
But it's also about how being an artist sucks. Because when you're new at it, you're desperate and you're hungry, but no one takes you seriously and everyone thinks you're kind of a joke. But then you get expert at it and you get jaded and don't think your work is actually as good as you want it to be and are just frustrated with all of it. And I've never seen a play, or I think maybe any like narrative work of art that quite captures that as well as The Seagull, because that's like the entire play is just that tension.
You know what? There's a line of thought. What are some plays you suggest people to watch? Like, what are some like?
And also, how would you go about like what would you just watch like a production? Should I read the script? Should I
YouTube? YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Obviously this is a case by case basis. So I'll emphasize that right now. If you first and foremost, look around, like go on Google Maps, search theaters, see what's around you. They're more likely than you think. There's probably a handful of like small indie theaters that charge like $15 a ticket every 3 months to put on one show or another, and that is worth your time and energy. If you live near a college, there's a good chance they put on shows pretty reliably. And it is worth your time and it is worthwhile. But otherwise, like when I say I just watched a couple Chekhov plays, YouTube.
Gotcha.
Very often, a lot of it, this has its limits. This definitely has its limits. But again, like
Musicals
I know
are one of
all
those
of
limits.
I know like all of Samuel Beckett's plays are on YouTube. I know all of Chekhov's plays. I I don't think Angels in America is. That's because listed. I think that's on HBO Max.
Oh God. Ugh.
Yeah, no,
Well,
sorry.
they did a whole mini series in the
Yeah,
90s,
no, they did a
didn't they?
mini series of it. But yeah. Broadly speaking, generally the first thing I do if I find a play that I'm like really eager to like check out, the first thing I do is just search it on YouTube. Because more often than not, like not universally, but more often than not, you'll find something really good. And I've genuinely found some of my best like productions and interpretations of plays on YouTube. What was it? But as far as recommendations go, I'm a huge fan of Samuel Beckett. I really love Samuel Beckett and his work. Waiting for Godot is the obvious one, but that's not the one I'm going to recommend because everyone else will recommend it for me. His play Endgame might be my favorite play of all time. It's perfect blend of hilarious and grimly dark. But to me, it's very much a continuation of everything he did in Waiting for Godot, and it feels both more grim and more honest, and somehow more hopeful. It's a very interesting play. Only mildly made weird by the fact that half the cast are two elderly people who live in a pot in the back of the room, who are the grandparents of the main character.
And
This
then one of
actually,
them
like,
starts
reading up on-
dancing after you get a golden ticket.
Yeah, just reading up on like basically the freaking Wikipedia or just whatever, just premise summary. This actually sounds really interesting. I might check it out.
Yeah, no, it's a fascinating one. I really adore it. And it's genuinely very important to me. I'm still very eager to talk about that on the channel. Just a matter of
Ooh.
finding the space.
Yeah.
What was it? I think blanking plays right now because I've been so down this Ava rabbit hole.
Oh yeah.
I'm
You're
sorry
too
I threw
busy
you in
anime.
the deep end.
No, it's fine. This is good. It's forcing me to. It's forcing me to brush up.
It's forcing you to shed your weep jacket.
Yeah.
It's forcing me to take off my weave jacket and forcing me to put on my pretentious theater nerd jacket. Oh, there we go. That's a good one. I think everyone alive should be legally required to watch A Doll's House
A Doll's House, like
by Henrik Ibsen. A play so good and influential that it spiked the divorce rate in Finland.
Yeah, baby, that's what you love to hear.
It is exceptionally good, and I think it has maybe the best like final scene of any play I've ever seen.
Ooh, I love me a good final scene.
Trying
Yeah, I'm
to
just putting
think.
these all. I'm just finding like just putting shit on my watch later, just of all this stuff. It's like, yeah, I do want to do more plays. Like, I've mostly been into like musicals because like freaking my boss is a big musical guy, and also just boss in quotation marks. And also
Yeah.
just yeah, I just those interested me for a while. But like, I do want to try plays because like there's something about like okay, just more grounded. There's just more grounded feeling to plays, and it's just yeah.
Yeah, I know that's always been my because I was one of the I was one of the theater kids that other theater kids thought was weird because I wasn't into musicals generally. Like I didn't hate them by any means, but like because I'm another thing that I'm really into is I'm big into music. Like that's originally what I was going to do back when I first when I graduated high school and all of that. I was originally planning to go into like audio production and all of that. And maybe do composition and so on and so forth. But like fell off that, moved into theater again because I make good decisions. But like, what was it? What was I going to say? I'm sorry, I blanked. ADHD's real.
Nah. I get it.
What was the last thing I said?
I forgot too.
You are having an ADHD brain fart and asking two other ADHD people to remember what you said.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about. Yeah,
Oh my
no,
god.
we were talking about your like why
Right, musicals.
Yeah, musicals. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So for a long time, if I was really into musicals, but I was generally more into like concept albums.
Mm.
And that still remains a really big thing for me. But like concept albums by kind of their nature needn't inherently be theatrical. A lot of them are, and I love the ones that are. That's honestly another play rec I guess I'd give is if you can ever see Pink Floyd's The Wall live.
Mm.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
highly recommended. But like it is one of those things where it was enough to, I don't want to sound like I was a pretentious snob about it, even if I kind of was a little bit,
Hey, own up to it. You gotta own up to it.
I'm not beyond admitting it, but it also wasn't outright derision either. It was just like I think what it is the formula of musicals kind of irked me in a way that like I preferred kind of the sporadicness of concept albums. But the core takeaway here is it meant that like I was always the one who was like, no, I like musicals, but can we talk about that weird abstract art piece, that weird monologue that half naked guy just did in the corner? Because I think that really did something really engaging and unique.
That's kind of your YouTube channel at this point.
Yeah, no, it panned out very well for me.
Yeah.
See, I was somewhat similar with musicals, but it was mainly because I like the weirdo shit. I like Sweeney Todd, Little Shop of Horrors, things of that kind of like big fun spectacle stuff.
Yeah.
But I also got pulp in my veins.
You like a lot. Yeah, Bondo does like a lot of pulp shit. Yeah.
Superheroes, capes, cowls, space operas, big bombast.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that just makes me immediately think of Coed and Cambria.
Oh yeah, no. I don't know the complete story, but I do love several of their songs.
I do love Mingo album.
I've fallen off Coed on the past couple albums, not because I think they're like horrendous or anything, just blind spot, how it is.
Yeah.
But I really love Coed and Cambria's early stuff. Like what was it? I also really love The Aftermath. But yeah, strong recommend if you like the sci-fi kind of vibes and music.
Ooh.
It's wall to wall that.
Well, actually, Ruby, I want to compliment you on something you probably don't intend with a couple of how your channel has progressed, because I know you tried starting a few series. I know you tried to you said you were gonna do Final Fantasy and infamously Persona 5, and you kind of dropped them. And honestly, I want to applaud you for just letting that just letting it, for lack of a better word, just letting your vibe take you where you want to go instead of forcing yourself to finish what you don't have passion for anymore. Because I know a lot of creators they just keep doing what they do, but no, you put your foot down saying I don't want to do this anymore.
If my heart isn't in it, and if I think it isn't good for the long-term health both of the channel and myself creatively, then to me it's a non-starter. The moment I'm no longer excited about doing a thing, like the Final Fantasy thing, we'll see what Final Fantasy VII Rebirth does to my brain. We'll see.
Well, we at least know a Rebirth video is coming.
It's one of those things where that's currently not on the list of projects I'm planning, but I just know.
Yeah.
I just know.
I mean,
I didn't plan on doing the FF7 remake video either. I didn't even plan on buying FF7 remake when it first dropped. And then I played it, and it rewired my brain for the rest of my life.
I mean, if you have to follow the dopamine, follow the dopamine.
That's the strat. No, that's absolutely how you make cool stuff.
Yeah, follow the dope.
Follow the dopamine, you'll find something dope.
Yeah. And I know, of course, you're gonna get people who will not like that, but sometimes just gotta be hey man, let it go. It's only just a dumb YouTube video series that's just made out of passion.
Yeah, no, the Persona thing in particular, I kind of feel bad about, but also Persona was a very weird edge case.
Yeah, I know you have a lot of problems with it. So.
Yeah, no, that was a moment where I was making that series because I had some harsh critiques, but I still really loved the game. And the longer I looked at it, the more things I loved about it just fell away till it hit a point where it's just like, do I really want to be the person who's like shitting on this game that I know is really important to a lot of people?
Yeah.
You know, you think you want to see this. You don't want to see this. I don't want to make it. It would make both of us more toxic.
Yeah, and I'm like, there's already discourse a lot of negative Persona 5 videos for better or worse. It just so it's like, you know, why do you want to add another one to the pile?
Yeah, it's redundant.
Yeah.
I may still talk about it at some point because I do think there's a few angles and ideas that like still merit discussion and that I haven't seen necessarily discussed, at least in the way that I would. But
if the dopamine ain't there,
yeah, again, especially these days, like the more I do, the more I'm much more fixated on. I don't want to talk about things I hate. I want to talk about things I love. I want to be able to share things that, like, you know, again, give me the serotonin.
Yeah.
Even if it gives me the serotonin in a really miserable way, like something like Pathologic.
Yeah, and I know like your end of Ava video is gonna have some harsh critiques, but you ultimately still do love that like movie. So
Oh yeah, no, like that's absolutely because like the first 2 hours of it are basically analysis, and then like the last 40 minutes are a nuanced critique that springs from that analysis. Or at least I try and make it nuanced. But like but like I still love End of Ava very, very dearly. It's still one of my favorite movies. It's still one of the most important pieces of art to me ever. But like, yeah, no, so like we should have the capacity to harshly critique things, be them works of art or ourselves, and still love them dearly.
yeah, and to be corny about it, isn't that what kind of Ava's all about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I will probably never watch Evangelion just because it's a headspace thing. I know I would be in a fog for a month after I watch it.
No, that's totally like Evangelion is one of those things that like when you watch it, it either completely fixes you or utterly dismantles you. Almost zero in between. The in between is I really hated that. But like
But I am thankful Evangelion exists because it solidified Anno as the creative he is to make a Shin Godzilla, Shin Ultraman, Shin Kamen Rider.
Kamen Rider,
I
yeah.
love those movies. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, like Shin Ultraman's my favorite movie of all time. I'll be honest. Like I got the Blu-ray recently, and I got it like an emotional moment where it's like I finally own a good Blu-ray because they had a shitty Cleopatra Blu-ray, but Raven Banner, a Canadian company, did like a way better region-free Blu-ray and has this beautiful box art, and it's sorry, just kidding. Yeah, like and I like. Hideaki Anno is like in his stuff, and Shinji Higuchi, because like people forget Higuchi is a big part of those Shin films. He like Shin Ultraman isn't just Anno. Higuchi is a big part of it. And like Higuchi, what did he do exactly in Evangelion? I forgot.
Wasn't he like a major animator?
Yeah, I think he did some special effects stuff because he is a special effects director at heart.
Like Evangelion also spurned on a lot of interesting anime that were his response or continued the ideas that were placed in it. And I'm thankful because without Evangelion, I wouldn't have Gurren Lagann.
Yeah. I wouldn't have it. That's one of my favorites of all time.
And like you talk about pieces of art rewiring your brain, Gurren Lagann is one of those for me.
Oh yeah, no. Gurren Lagann was super foundational for me too. Like that is actually the first anime I ever watched while it was airing.
Ooh.
It was the first anime I watched knowing it was anime.
Yeah, no. That's
because you'd watch Pokemon and Digimon, it's just like, oh, it's cartoons. That was the first one. I was like, this is something different.
This is some anime. For me, that was probably Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z rather. But yeah, no, it very much like that. That is absolutely one of those pieces of art that like if I had found that before I found Evangelion, it would probably occupy a very similar space in my life at this point. I would probably be making the 3-hour video about that.
I genuinely, I have found that that's kind of the case with anime fans. Of like, depending on which one you get to first,
there's a generational divide there.
Yeah, generational, but it's also like a taste divide.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying our taste would be too drastically different, but like, I like Gurren Lagann and things like No More Heroes and loud, fast punk music and very loud, abrasive visuals. Like, I love noise kind of thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it kind of took me a while to find like an anime that like kind of clicked with me outside of the like this kids stuff they would show. I guess Yu-Gi-Oh would be the first one, but that was more of like that. I watched those 4Kids dubs, and those aren't really accurate representations of the original. But I did eventually get around to watching the sub versions, not of all of them, of like a few of them, and yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh's really interesting. I gotta do more videos on that one. I had a video on the anniversary season, Arc 5, and I still haven't finished it because I just am like so scatterbrained on that show. It is like there's parts I love and parts I hate.
I'm surprised there hasn't been an attempt at a reboot of the earlier Yu-Gi-Oh era stuff where it was just games of death, you know?
Yeah, like the season 0 stuff.
Yeah.
I guess that would be interesting. But like I don't know. Like right now, the who's the current studio? It's not Gala.
There was something like that. It's fucking Kaji.
Kaji, yeah, Kaji good. Like I gotta read more Kaji. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I remember what you're talking. Yeah, no, Kaji's iconic.
But like it's that same kind of like death gamey, gambly vibes.
Did you ever? This is tangentially related, but did you ever see? Oh no, was it Akira? Is the name of it? Kage or Akira? It's made by the same guy who made Kaji.
Oh, the Mahjong
manga
one?
Or the Mahjong one.
No, I haven't, but I have friends who are really into Mahjong who like recommend it.
It definitely learn the rules of Mahjong beforehand, but if you do, banger. Absolute fire.
Yeah, those friends are trying to teach us all the rules of Mahjong.
This is how they trap you into learning Mahjong. They're going to get you.
Oh.
You know, this group of friends, we like to share. We do watch along parties. We share stuff like that. So we've watched Review Starlight. We watched the Tim Curry It stuff like that. Yeah.
Wait, Boygo, have you seen the newer It's or just?
I have not seen the new It's.
Okay, because I heard the first one was fine, but the second one kind of fell off.
Well, I mean that's kind of true of the storyline in the book, isn't it?
Yeah. No wonder the miniseries kind of like, hey, in between, just like it just flow in between. Like you get a part of the human kids, part of the not the human kids. Everyone's a human in that book.
Some of those kids turned into adult furries.
Yeah, that's the twist. Oh my god, my brain's all over the place.
You should pick it up.
Yeah, I'm picking it up. I keep falling it out. My hands are slippery.
Pick it up.
Pick it up.
I love ska.
Oh, Boygo's a big ska guy. He is
good taste.
Yeah.
Favorite ska band? Streetlight Manifesto.
My favorite band, ska band, is Fishbone.
Good pick.
Yeah.
I actually in front of me I have a whole ass flag that I bought from Jeff Rosenstock. Bomb the music industry.
Oh, bomb the music industry. Oh yeah, I remember like because you used the song in your like Evangelion episode 25 and 26 are good from that, and I actually have that on my playlist like of just like random music playlist, and I occasionally hear that. I was like, yeah, that's that song from that video I like. So you inadvertently showed me there's music, so thank you so much.
I'm overjoyed I could. What was it? Yeah, the main guy behind it, Jeff Rosenstock. He's the lead songwriter and like guitarist and singer, blah blah blah, everything for Bomb the Music Industry. He does solo work now, and his speaking of work that rewires people's brains, like it's so important to me, and he just never misses. And also, he keeps releasing ska versions of his albums, and so often they're like better than the actual original version.
I mean, if no one's gonna make a ska cover, you gotta make a ska cover.
Yeah, no, right? Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah, baby. This might be like I actually have. Like, remember, there's a question I want to ask you. This might be a touchy one. What do you think of like your like? I guess we already kind of touched on this, but I kind of want to get a bit more in depth answer. Like your earliest videos, like how do you like look back on it, especially because given there's a lot of changes in your life and how you present yourself. And
like quite bluntly, I hate them. I like there's some I really appreciate. There are some I look back on fondly. The Devil May Cry one, the DMC3 one, I recently just rewatched kind of on Lark. And yeah, no, I think that still holds up. I like that one. Definitely a few things I would do differently, but I think it's pretty good overall. There's select episodes here and there, select videos here and there that like I do really enjoy and still really appreciate. I do think the Nintendo one was one of the first ones where I really learned how to edit. What was it? But also like I leave them up mainly because I know some of them mean a lot to other people, and also because I want to make sure that like people can kind of track like
progression,
because I know I've done that with other YouTubers, and like I recognize that's kind of part of like part of enjoying someone's work on YouTube as a platform, is kind of seeing how they started and how they ended up where they're at. But like most of that stuff, like broadly, I'd say basically everything before the first Pathologic video, except, well, I take that back. Everything before the first Evangelion video, although that's now been taken down and re-uploaded, of course, so it's kind of harder to track, but that was like 2 videos before the Patho video. Because I'd say the Ava video is my first really great video that I am still like unambiguously, yes, that is what I want it to be. That is up to the standard I hold myself to. That's the kind of thing I want to put out there and has the kind of impact I want it to have. But everything before that, like it is of course a case by case basis, but for the most part I just look back on it and I see someone who is trying very hard and moving in the right direction, but still has a long way to go, be it in terms of her editing, in terms of her writing, in terms of her voice delivery, and also just in terms of herself. Because yeah.
What's that shark flying over there?
Big question.
No, wasn't Big Question the fucking Sanrio alligator?
What?
Fuck. Okay. How many layers do I need to explain?
I get the reference at least.
I'm not a big Sanrio guy. So, is it Big Challenges?
Oh, Big Challenges.
I literally looked up Big Question Sanrio alligator and I found the freaking picture of like Big Challenges. Here, I'll post it in the little chat.
Buster, real quick. The hilarious lore about Big Challenges. They made the character in like the 70s and he didn't show up for like 70 years until eventually he just randomly showed up in a Hello Kitty video game.
I love Big Challenges. I want to be his best friend. I've decided that now.
Yeah.
I mean, it really evokes the spirit of facing big challenges.
My face when confronted with adversity.
No. You know what it all partially reminds me of? There was a children's book I got when I was a little child, who would read a children's book. It was about an alligator and a bird, and the bird was his toothbrush.
I've actually been like studying children's books, so I might actually check that out.
I think it was William and something. Like literally, the alligator and the bird became friends.
Alligator William.
That sounds adorable.
I'm looking up freaking the keywords I have to look up, and even Google sucks as a search engine. So, anyways.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Amazing what the enshittification of technology does is.
Yeah.
For real.
Enshittification.
Yeah, you shit in your fication.
I'll shit in your fication.
Whoa, Cody, I'm not into that.
Wait till they get to Germany.
Oh.
What the fuck was about? Oh no, I hadn't been paying attention to how the icon changes, and I looked at Twitter's icon on my phone for the first time in like weeks, and it's like grungy, like there's a edgy, hardcore texture on it now, and I'm just like, what are you doing, buds?
Oh yeah, they made it look like Grindr.
You're a Fortune 500 company. Come on.
Yeah. No, it's very odd.
It looks about as degraded as a Cybertruck. How?
We're at the vocal stimming part of the podcast now.
We're always at the vocal
Hell
stimming part
yeah.
of the podcast.
No, that's fair. Sometimes I just vocal stim and then I tweet that out, and people wonder, what the hell are you cooking? And I'm like, nothing. I'm not cooking anything. I'm just vocal stimming through tight text.
Vocal stimming is the conversational equivalent of just opening a bag of chips, not even fixing a plate of them, and just eating them out of the bag.
Yeah. I mean, I do that all the time, so gotta dock
Yeah,
myself there.
Why do you think I use that as an example?
Because you've lived it.
Motherfucker,
It's personal experience.
I'm the kind of motherfucker who gets a spoon and dips it in peanut butter when I forget to eat lunch and it's 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock a.m. or p.m.?
Pum,
Pim. Okay.
pum.
Uh,
No.
Dang it, I should have... Boingo, we forgot to ask questions for the podcast, for the viewer questions. We should have done that earlier.
You know what? That just means we can ask her on a second time.
Yes. Look at...
I'd be more than happy to.
Yeah. Probably in a few months, but yeah. Yeah, we got other stuff to do. We got other fellas to
Of
get
course,
on.
of course. Always
All
good
the
to have a
time.
lull.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
trying to think. I know there's things on my mind I want to ask or just like tell you about, but my brain, again, just
Your brain is being a brain.
Yeah, the brain's being the brain.
The
All you
brains
gotta
do
do
be
is-
braining.
All you got to do is find Pinky.
Yeah, Pinky and the brain, Pinky and the brain. See, there's my vocal stimming. Just singing.
That's a dangerous habit I have of just saying something and putting a song into people's heads. So it's just like, fuck you.
Yeah.
How could you do this to me?
I just earlier I was talking with some friends and I got the Pikmin 1 and 2 and Pikmin 3 song stuck in my head. We kept singing it throughout the conversation and it was really funny.
No, you know the worst vocal stim I have?
What?
It's fucking doing the butterfly song.
From Digimon?
No. Not the DDR one either. The sleazy one.
Oh,
The
Come,
one
my
by
baby,
Crazy
come,
Town.
my baby. You
I
look
knew
like a
it!
fly, sugar baby.
oh yeah.
That song's hook is nightmarish. It doesn't leave your brain.
No, you cannot remember the rest of the song, but the hook.
Oh yeah, Boingo, you've said that multiple times.
I have said this multiple times.
Yeah.
It's almost as if we're in a loop of infinite creativity, lol.
Yeah, loop-de-loop.
A loop like a fucking Sonic.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so excited for the Shadow game. Shadow game.
I am very, very excited for the Sonic X Shadow. I'm glad they finally decided to make it canon.
Yeah.
Shame about the game being priced higher. If you want to find out more information, just look up Sonic X Shadow inflation.
See, I'm pretty sure people could just take that at face value of how jacked up video game prices are right now.
Remember,
they're pretty jacked up.
Remember what Guy Bush Threepwood said: "Never pay more than $20 for a fucking video game."
Yep.
Yeah, and I failed multiple times.
No, I'm failing this week, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
well, actually, Ruby, you should know this comes out the day FF7 Rebirth comes out because of the way we schedule this. So
fantastic. Yeah, I will be utterly unreachable by any human being alive.
Yeah, this is the last record they'll have of you.
I am settling on my couch, and no one is hearing from me again until I find out how Nomura has decided to fuck up my life.
Yeah,
in 3 months, you'll be the subject of a true crime podcast.
So, yeah.
I'm going to. What was it? I'm going to go through like a House of Leaves style breakdown, and I'm just going to disappear one day, but someone will come home and find like claw marks in the floorboards.
The freaking like.
You remind me of it because he said House of Leaves. It seems like a project you'd be interested in, at least exploring somewhat. Have you heard of myhouse.wad?
I have, and I have considered it, but it also seems like thoroughly well-trodden ground.
I'm not saying make a video on it. I'm just saying you as a person might be interested in it.
Oh yeah, no, I played through it a while ago. It's very good. It's a very interesting experiment, and I'm very impressed by it.
Have you ever played Dear Esther?
Dear Esther? Yeah, no. It's been a long time. I played that by God. Oh God. That was 20, wasn't it? Oh my God.
Time is time.
That clock needs to cut it out. I don't like that.
All you gotta do is turn it around upside down, and you're good.
It's not working.
No. The fascinating thing with my house.wad was for me, because I follow Doom modding and Doom wadding and all that kind of stuff. So for the first like few months, it was all just like the Doom mod community going like, yo, look at this crazy tech that they put in the game. Look at all this intricate detail that they did to make it happen. And then after that, all the people who were like analyzing story were like, yo, shit, there's something deep going on here. And it's like 1-2 punch of like, this was so creatively done, you know?
I mean, that to me is like one of the great parts of like gaming at large is like it's this fascinating intersection of like technology and storytelling, and the two can like very effectively bolster each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like it does. A more immediate example or a more recent example that immediately springs to mind is like Hades' dialogue system.
I have yet to play Hades.
You should definitely.
Yeah, Hades is like what unironically it's like what I go to like what's it called, like I guess Express Games is storytelling mode. Like just it's just the simple concept of each run, even if you die, it progresses the story, is just so like yeah, this is what games are meant for, man.
I'm lame. I always fall back on Hideo Kojima and Metal Gear Solid as, hey, look at how you still do stories in video games.
I love Kojima's work, and I remember Metal Gear Solid 2 is so upsetting to me, the way it just saw through time.
Yeah, the memes.
And no one recognized it until like 10 years later, and people replayed it and was like, oh fuck.
We were warned.
Yeah.
But what was it? I still really love more traditional and linear stories in games. Like again, I played FF16 recently and really adored that, and that is like about as linear video game story as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Like while still having side quests in a technically open world. But like I will say it's funny because I feel like I'm ultimately colder on Hades than a lot of people I know.
That's fair.
Not because I think it's bad by any means. I think it's a 10, but I also have I have strong feelings about Supergiant as a developer. But like the way it manages to tell a ongoing story that feels like it kind of never stops happening because you are actually in like this living space with these actual people who have feelings and thoughts set from you. Like there's only a handful of other games I can think of that even come close, and those ones are like live service multiplayer games, usually like MMOs.
It's interesting just how far storytelling in games has come in the last few years, though, because it's like you have Hades exploring that whole nature of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then you have something like Disco Elysium.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to bring up next.
Right, and you have all these different things. You have all these different ways of exploring different things, and it's just like, what was the other one? Who's Lila? The Who's Lila game, you know, where it's all about like it's an adventure game, but you don't choose dialogue, you choose your facial expressions, and you have to drag parts of your face around the screen to be able to make it a smile or to make it a scowl, and that's how the other character will respond to you.
Oh, nice.
And
I'd heard about that one, but I haven't checked it out yet.
Yeah. It looks like it should have been on the DS because it has like the dual screen look vibe. It's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I just think it's neat.
It's pretty neato.
Yours.
No, games are neato.
Yeah, games are good, except when they aren't.
Except when capitalism.
Games are the greatest thing ever, except when they mildly frustrate me, in which case they were a mistake and I hate them and we should get rid of all.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. I feel like the games industry, like in general, like both the Japanese and Western, they both have the potential to do so much, but they just kind of keep hindering themselves with a bunch of stupid bullshit. It's like, you don't need that, guys. You don't need to be the movie guys. You can just be the funny game guys. And
the problem is, Buster, line needs to go up.
Yeah. The line needs to go up. And It's always about like nobody like it's always gonna be peaks and valleys, but nobody wants to acknowledge the valleys, so they want to keep going peak, 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 and it's like if everything's peak, nothing will be. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, you need the ups and downs.
Yeah, or the ups and clowns.
Da 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 da.
That's the jokes you get. That's the
No,
joke.
no, Buster. The jokes you get is me. I'm the joke.
The boy go look. Okay, like we get it. You have self-doubt issues, but you're funny. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm funny
Trust-
looking.
Okay.
Ha 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 ha! I can respond to anything.
Yeah, but sometimes it feels like everyone has like a punchline just in their back pocket, and I'm like, I'm just so unaware of it. Well, besides, actually, I guess since we're approaching the end soon, I guess to close like just a couple closing questions. Anything besides FF7 Rebirth you're looking forward to, like either this year or next year, just in general, Ruby?
Oh God. Oh right, there's Bachelor's Route is happening for Pathologic 2 before
Ooh.
too long-ish.
Yeah.
Trying to think because honestly, I don't know how much there is. Like I know there's some stuff coming out that I'm really excited for, but right now my backlog is so like
Oh yeah.
overflow. Like I still haven't touched Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh Jesus!
Oh.
Yeah, no. Like I because that game released while I was working on the Ava video, and I rightfully recognize that this game looks like something I'm really going to love. I can't play it till I'm done with this video, or this video will never get done. I will only play this game.
All of my friends who have played it have thoroughly enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
I've heard it's one of the rare instances where I have heard literally nothing but good things from literally every kind of like person I know who plays games. Like even the more casual, like I just like fantasy games, like kind of people I have in my life who are much more casual about everything. Like 200 hours.
Whoa.
Like and nothing but like every second of it was fantastic. And meanwhile, like, but on the flip side, also like a lot of like I know Solmatal is working on a Baldur's Gate 3 thing right now,
Ooh.
kind of in the background. I'm not sure when it's going to come together,
I
but
mean, aren't they
we were
focused on
talking
the
about
like the second part of the Otena thing?
Oh yeah, no, she's doing that too. But I think that's becoming a bit well, I don't want to speak on her behalf.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. She has a lot on her plate is all I will say.
Yeah.
Enough that I was just like, okay, if you're sure, I support you and I'm on your side. Let me know if you need help with anything. But
Yeah.
but even she like played through it and has still been playing through it near as I can tell. Because she's still posting about it constantly, and I haven't heard her say she finished it, but she's been going through it and has only had really positive things to say, and has also gotten very, very weird about Shadowheart affectionately.
Oh.
I not that I'm allowed to judge. I get it. I'm weird about Aerith. Like, you know, but we all
Shadowheart seems like
we
the
all
fan
have our
favorite.
keys.
Yeah.
We all have the characters who we see them and it's just like, oh, it me.
It's me for real.
you say
It's like me
that,
for
and
real,
I
for
just
real.
and I have been having a mini existential crisis because I have a D&D game on every other Thursdays. It's Wild West themed. It's fun. My character's a snake oil salesman, but the snake oil soda pop. And the DM just basically laid bare of like, hey, this is your character. This is a big thing. I'm going to poke in your character arc, and I'm like, yeah, no, that makes sense. And then I sat there for a second. It's like, fuck, that's every character I've made in D&D of just wanting to be acknowledged. And I'm sitting here going like, fuck me, I didn't expect to be going to therapy right now.
No, that's part of the fun of tabletop is accidentally discovering what kind of repressed emotions you deal with through your art. Like I don't know. It feels like it's been both in my personal experience and from having played tabletop with other people. It very much feels like if you watch someone make multiple characters in a row, not always, but very often, in the process, you'll be able to kind of triangulate, like, oh, these are your hangups.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the things that like you think about probably a bit more than you want to, because like I mean, same thing, completely same thing. I've absolutely had characters where like I put them together and I'm like, wow, this character definitely has like trauma they need to work through, and they're working through it in a way that feels familiar. I need to figure out something.
Yeah, that is exactly that. Because I realized, oh wait a second, a lot of my characters are big snarkers who just want to be acknowledged for what they do and who they are. Oh, that's fun.
That has nothing to
Fuck you. Fuck you. Who do you think you are, knowing me for several decades at this point?
Couldn't be further from the truth. Get out of here. Couldn't be farther. That's
Are you my
interesting, though.
father?
I've never heard that aspect of tabletop. Only played it
Yeah.
mainly.
Problem with
situations where I
tabletop
kinda
is you need a
get there.
consistent group of friends.
Yeah. There's a great clip of big famous celebrity DM Brandon Lee Mulligan,
Yeah.
who does the Dimension 20 show, who has made several characters that are very neurodivergent coded as NPCs. And someone pointed out of like, hey, this character you created is very autistic. And Brandon Lee Mulligan just looked like, no, they're normal. That's what a person's like, isn't it?
No, I base that character on me. They're the normal one. No, Brandon, they're not.
Oh.
Oh.
As my friends call it, it's peer-reviewed autism.
No, like genuinely, I'm not going to name names, but I have a friend in my life who had a tabletop character who they'd been role playing as a trans man. And this friend of mine wasn't trans at the time. But like, it's an interesting character exploration. I want to try a perspective that's, different from mine. And then they made another character who was a trans mass. And after a certain point, I was just like, look, I'm not trying to be accusatory, but I need you to explain to me why. Because if there's anything more than I just think they're neat, then I need you to do some self-exploration for your sake, because there's something happening here. Like there's a lot of stories I've heard, lots of stories of just people all across the board getting transed in one direction or another by D&D and Pathfinder.
Yeah.
I mean, I can kind of relate because of RPGs. Like,
yeah,
just
go.
Okay, like Pokemon, the Pokemon gender select element.
Oh
that's
yeah,
what
that's a classic.
Yeah, where it's I decided like, Sword and Shield specifically. Like, I decided, okay, you know what? I like the design better. I'm gonna do that. And then I dressed because Sword and Shield had some really cool customization options. So I dressed her up, and I'm like, huh, I like this. Oh, there might be more to this.
Given chance to explore things, you explore things.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Soul Silver, Mass Effect. Trying to think. I guess Dragon Age. I'll give that the nod because I do know a couple people, but yeah, Dragon Age.
I mean, there's the always ever internet classic of Fallout New Vegas.
New Vegas, of course. New Vegas, big one. Trying to think. Yeah, no, those are among the big ones that spring to mind. Of like, I've heard a lot of stories of people who have come out the other side different, I shall say, affectionately, as someone who was very much also like went through that. Oh, of course, FF14. Holy shit!
Oh yeah.
Bring it back around. There we go. Narrative caps.
Yeah, baby.
Storytelling.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
This is a fucking. That's what I don't know. Sometimes your mouth starts going in one direction. You're not quite sure your pants can keep up.
Yeah.
I've been to the year 3000.
Not much has changed, but they live underwater.
Did we fix anything?
Doubt.
No.
Damn it.
No, the Jonas Brothers are still there.
God.
Ow.
We can't have shit.
Oh, we could have shit. There's plenty of that.
God damn.
You could say there's a buttload.
Oh. Oh,
Oh,
Cody,
I do want to say
Cody
that
Boingo.
I, as
What have I
RoboCop,
said about the
just
shit
defeated Frieza
jokes?
in Fortnite.
Oh, nice. Is that Frieza? It's become like a running joke with a couple of friends where just anytime we see anything remotely looking like Frieza, we just go, "Is that Frieza?"
Frieza, Frieza,
Yeah, the maximum
Frieza.
the hormone song. That's really catchy. Yeah.
It
Oh.
rips. No,
Yeah, that was good.
that's a modern class.
It's not even that modern anymore. It was like 2005, 2006.
That still counts as modern. Modern is anything. Modern is just anything after World War II.
I mean, you're right, but colloquially, are you right?
I
We've been in postmodern for at least a
you
few
know-
decades at this point.
No, we're definitely but postmodern has a specific meaning to it.
I'm
But we do definitely live in a modern era. You are right about that.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that kind of like, man, it feels like we're at the like the kind of like everything already happened and now we're just like riffing on it. I don't know how to explain it. It's just
We're
like
we're in the trashed hotel room after civilization's big party, and now we're just left to clean up the mess.
yeah.
yeah.
And I'm not even like talking about just like regular like problems with like the real, for lack of a better word, the real world. I'm just talking about just like media in general, like postmodern media, where it's like there's a lot of like reduxes, sequels, and shit. I don't know. I know that's always been a complaint with like these companies.
No, it's definitely gotten way worse.
Yeah,
Like,
it's way worse.
Like one of the jokes that I've made with people in my life is just like culture has become like an Ouroboros. It's just a worm eating its own tail.
Yeah, which like
like,
there's a fine line between.
On one side, that is like you look at cinema and all that like big things. It's like that's true, but to me, there's also like a positive aspect to it too because you look at like independent media, like Cruelty Squad is definitively
like this is why I am so big into games. This is why games are like my chosen art form of choice, is because I do think they are, at least at this moment in time, far and away the most dynamic, the most experimental, the most bold, the most creative, where the most artistic developments and like evolutions are happening. Because like what's the recent cinematic equivalent to like something like Disco Elysium or even Baldur's Gate 3, where it's just like, oh no, we're not going to talk about like games the same way after this.
Yeah.
Like maybe Infinity War, but do we really want to give that to Infinity War? Like
no, Infinity War is the big fun action figure mashup. That's what the movie is. It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be anything more than that.
It tried to be.
Yeah, it kind of tried, but like
it tried in the same way that a big major comic book event tries.
Yeah. Boingo is a big Marvel Comics fan.
I love Marvel. Like let's put it this way. I made a 3-hour lecture on just the history of how the internal logic of the Marvel universe works.
He did, and it was very fun.
Banger, nice.
Yeah.
But like, it was something.
Yeah, Cody
you
was
had
there.
to sit through it.
He was in the audience.
But like that again, pulp in my veins. I love superheroes. I love Marvel, and I love the morality tales of all of that.
Yeah. Anyway, point like back to movies. Yeah, like I don't know. Like there's really good like movies from like smaller studios or like smaller divisions.
Like I don't want to like diminish like any great filmmakers working out there right now or anything like that. Or like any great independent cinema. But well, first off,
the bigger stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Like the big stuff, like I can't imagine a remake I would be excited for in like movies at this point. But meanwhile, I'm excited for this remake of Final Fantasy VII precisely because I know it's going to do something bold and weird.
Oh, aren't the remakes not remakes in the most strictest sense?
Exactly my point.
You know what? There are some movies I can think like Get Out maybe can count. This.
No, that's probably that's a good example. Yeah, no, that I think is a good...
I guess in the realm of TV, the new Scott Pilgrim anime kinda did that.
Here's the thing. I think media like that, like TV and movies, have become so spread out in terms of like what they're trying to accomplish, that there is no major tentpole, this is changing how we do cinema anymore.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes good, but sometimes really bad because you have like all these big companies resting on their laurels and shit, and it's not cool.
Because like you could probably name several movies that like, yeah, no, that's greatly impacting how we talk about cinema now. Like The Babadook, Lighthouse, The Vitch.
Yeah.
What was? They're all horror movies, strangely enough.
Yeah.
But like there is important things happening, but it's only within their niches. It's not like the greater public.
Yeah.
The greater public isn't sitting there going like, "Yo, The Lighthouse, banger."
I wish they were, because it is a good movie.
We had to twist the public's arm to even get them to watch Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great one. I love that movie.
No, it's great. Like that's probably one of the most recent examples of a movie where it's just like, oh, movies are different now. Like the movies as a medium are different now. We have to consider this.
I still haven't watched it, and all
it's
of my
on
friends have said
Netflix. Boingo. It's on.
All of my friends have said it's really good, and I heard that the writer and or director say that the character's basically ADHD, and I'm like, fuck. Now my ADHD brain has to watch it.
You gotta watch.
No,
Boingo, you'd love it.
Genuinely, like as someone who also has ADHD, I've seen few works of art that better capture it. Like maybe Disco Elysium, maybe. But Disco Elysium also captures something very adjacent, I would say, I guess.
I tried playing Disco Elysium, but it was also on stream, so my computer fucking hated it.
Yeah. It blew up, because Boingo's computer's a potato, if you don't know.
I'm sorry about your toaster.
Yeah. I have no idea how he makes videos.
Also a VTuber. It doesn't help that I'm also a VTuber, so I had that going on as well.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Boingo's a little robo boy.
Sorry.
Gesundheit.
Well, I say Boingo's a robo boy, and suddenly he sneezes, which is something robots can't do.
That was me.
Oh.
Get your sneeze direction right, Buster. God, come on. What were they thinking?
What were they thinking?
What bunch of
Bug sneeze mechanics.
Isn't there a game with a sneeze mechanic?
I'm sure there's a couple.
Metal Gear Solid.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, if you stay out in the cold and stay still for too long, Solid Snake will sneeze and alert the guards.
There's something about the movie discussion I want to get like a bit more in depth to, because I've been watching a lot of movies with my friends, and my friends are just all movie buffs in like a way, and it just like made me think about a lot of things, because they're just great movies being made. It just feels like you have to twist. Like I feel like I don't really agree with where. Yeah, you have to find them, and I really don't agree with what the general audience consider good movies. Like, hot take incoming. I don't really care for the Dune movies, honestly, and I know everyone's gassing them up, but I'm just like, it's fine, it's okay, but it's not really like capturing me the way like something like the freaking like other movies do. So I don't know.
I think Dune's also just a very dense novel.
Yeah,
working off of.
Speaking of Metal Gear.
Right.
Yeah.
Turn off alarm, please and thank you.
Yeah. Boingo has the infamous Metal Gear alarm. It has appeared many times throughout the podcast.
It's a good ringtone.
Colonel.
The
clap of my ass keeps alerting the guards.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just find myself, maybe it's my autism or ADHD, but just find myself not really going with the flow in terms of what the mainstream is like into. Sometimes I'll be like, yeah, that's a good movie, but like other times I'd be like, really? This? I don't know.
I think there's also it's a lot of little elements. Independent theaters are disappearing.
Yeah.
Corporate takeovers of just big things.
Tax write-offs.
Tax write-offs are only making big tentpole features, and they're not making the little smaller features that those are supposed to help boost.
Yeah, and also like this kind of pissed me off. I learned that like one of my favorite films of last year, Poor Things, isn't getting a 4K because I know that's like a small thing, but it's still showing that they not really even when little smaller films come out, they're not giving them the love they deserve, even though it's an Oscar nominated film and you probably want to watch it in the best resolution possible. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it genuinely feels like film has hit a point where it can only ever be at like perpetual odds with the business end of it. Like It's frustrating. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I shot a lot of like student films when I was in college. I knew a lot of people who wanted to be filmmakers, who wanted to be directors, cinematographers, and like I hope each and every one of them are doing well, because I would not want to be working in the film now.
Yeah.
I long for a new American independent film revolution like there was in the 90s.
Dude, I would love it, especially because like I feel like it has to be to some extent on the horizon with how accessible
Yeah.
like
Filmmaking is.
editing. Yeah, like you I the iPhone camera is good enough to shoot a movie on. I firmly believe that. There are
was-
movies that
There was a
Tangerine is
movie forever ago that I remember. It was about like two trans women in Miami.
Tangerine.
That was it? That was that? Okay.
Yeah. That was shot exclusively on an iPhone 5. And you can tell, but it still looks really good. And like that technology has only come along way further from. And like, yeah, you're not going to be able to do like the kinds of things that like, like someone could do with one of those $100,000 like cameras you need to rent or whatever. But like
You can
you
still
can
do
make
it.
stuff. You can make some cool stuff. But honestly, what I'm basically describing at that point is kind of YouTube. I think that's where
Yeah.
a lot of those people have ended up.
I
A lot of the
mean-
people that would have become indie filmmakers like 30, 40 years ago are now like YouTubers or editors or VFX artists or whatever have you.
And you know what? There's probably an easier chance for them to get noticed today because you say that, and my first immediate thought is like Abigail Thorne, Philosophy Tube.
Yeah.
And I'm going like I love her content. I love watching her stuff, but I cannot imagine a world where she would have been successful in the 90s.
Yeah, like I mean like the stuff I make, like
Yeah.
feel free to be honest, would you have bought that on a VHS?
No.
I wouldn't have.
Well, actually, maybe.
But like
I very much appreciate that, but
I see Final Fantasy VII in my brain go, ooh.
neuron activate.
Yeah.
But like no, you say it like because Chris Stuckman's making a movie
Yeah.
or beta movie. I think it's in post right now.
Yeah, it's in post.
And there's a historian YouTuber I watch called Atun Shea Films.
oh, he's great.
I cannot wait for Sudbury Devil to come to be released for everyone.
Yeah, no, he's a great example of the kind of person I'm talking about, because like he is one of those YouTubers who makes me want to get better at my own craft. Like I watch him and I'm just like, I need to get better at memorizing lines. I
Yeah.
need to be a better actress. Like he's blowing me out of the water.
Yeah.
But there's still like a very I don't want to, not in a negative way, but there is a low rent quality to the stuff he's making. It is-
You can tell he's making it in his living room out of passion. And
Yeah.
that to me is it's only a boon. It's only in its
Yeah.
favor.
I know, like,
and when he does get a chance to do more, you get the Sudbury Devil, which looks amazing.
Yeah, no, he like, or even just like a lot of the little skits he does at the end of a lot of his videos. Like, again, you can tell that they're like skits effectively being filmed by a YouTuber, but also it's not like they look like something like, for instance, Doug Walker would put together.
Oh god!
Yeah.
First, we've got 2 hours.
It
and our
doesn't
first
look like Nostalgia
reference
Critic
of
or
the
whatever.
podcast.
Doug Walker's like the worst parts of Trauma.
Yeah.
It kind of is.
And I say, and here I'm one of those people who says like Trauma's cool, but like some parts of it's not.
I mean, I have a working theory that a lot of what a lot of like what the Nostalgia Critic would be quaintly charming in kind of the way that like modern AVGN is.
But never quite reaches that.
Well, because he's such a fucking arrogant asshole.
Yeah.
Like like James Rolfe, I get the distinct sense he knows that, yeah, I'm just making fun videos in my basement, and I'm very blessed to be able to do this. And I just do what I can. This isn't my highest priority at this point. I have a family, but like I still
Paying the
relish to have
bills.
this opportunity. James thinks he is a fucking like
Doug.
not James.
Oh.
Fucking Oh god,
Douglas?
Doug and Nostalgia Critic, the whole current awesome channel crew, genuinely think they're doing cinema. They think they're pushing the boundaries of what like their chosen medium is, without realizing that they haven't been anywhere near the boundary of their chosen medium since like 2011.
That was To Boldly Flee. Oops.
Yeah.
I've only seen like one Doug Walker video essay. I know the rest are gonna be good. I know like people have some really good analysis and deconstructing it. I just like, man, I'm just not there to like watch them all. I've only seen like the Lady Emily ones. And, like those are really
That's
good
a
ones.
good one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and actually, like, I want to mention like more like freaking like YouTubers just making like little movies. Like I know Hazel's making like a little zero budget movie, and it looks really neat. So yeah, shout out to Hazel. She's a really good, cool fella.
Yeah, no, Hazel does great work.
and there's a bunch of fucking great animation too, like Worthy Kids.
Oh yeah.
Oh
the
yeah,
only-
no, We're the Kids is
Yeah.
the genuinely next level.
Yeah, I'm so surprised at like just how like consistent Worthy Kids is of just like he uses like computers, but it's like, hey, just because you use computers doesn't mean you can't produce some like gorgeously awe-inspiring work. Because I feel like for a while in the animation community there was kind of like a stigma where it's like anything with computers bad or some shit. But like I feel like we're starting to see like, no, you just have to be creative with it.
Yeah.
It was everyone chasing Pixar and now going like, oh, we don't have to be Pixar.
Yeah.
And then you have like stuff like Enna and Digital Circus and
Yeah.
a variety of projects, and it's just like things are being there are interesting.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
like
not
interesting
everyone's
things being made with passion, little like from the heart. Like yeah, they may
Yeah.
not be the most like crisp cross cream of the crop peak fiction, but like they are stuff from the heart, and you can enjoy it. You know.
I mean, some
Yeah,
of the
I
best
mean, like-
documentaries are on YouTube. So
Yeah. Oh, Defunct Land. Don't get me started.
Oh god. Speaking of YouTubers who make me feel like I need to be better at what I do,
I'm so sorry.
like I'll figure out how to reach that level of talent someday. In the meantime, I just stare on in awe. It's he does very impressive work, and like
Yeah.
again, perfect microcosm of like I think a lot. I genuinely do believe part of the problem with where film's at right now is I do think no small amount of the talent that would have been in that industry is now in YouTube. Because like I mean, like again, there's definitely another timeline where I ended up like writing like scripts for a studio or something. Like I'm in a writer's room or I'm a video editor somewhere at some trailer house or whatever. That timeline will never come to be because why the hell would I want to work a non-union job in Hollywood?
yeah, and at this point, why would you kind of want to work a union job in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Strikes. Support your local strikes. I know the animation guilds like planning to strike this year, so support them.
Yeah, but there's also the fact of union or guild management
That's
may
it.
not
Yeah.
have your interest 100% at heart.
Oh yeah,
you
with the
know?
actor
Yeah.
stuff. The actor stuff. Yeah, with the AI. Don't get me started. Yeah, I think that's a podcast. Would you say, Boingo?
I mean, it's been a podcast for a bit. I mean, the
Yeah.
second we said it's a podcast, it's a podcast.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean. Like, I think we should.
We're
start
not a
rapidly-
painting of a podcast, Buster.
What? Say that again.
We're a picture of a
We're not a
Oh.
painting of a podcast, Buster.
Yeah, true.
I am referencing the pipe.
Pipe, like a pipe bomb.
Okay, hold on.
No, I get it.
Yeah, I understand. I knew you would probably get it.
No, I'm pretentious enough to get that joke. High five.
It genuinely is one of my favorite paintings, just because I'm a dumb.
It's
little
hilarious.
pretentious
It's
bitch.
inherent. Like it makes a genuinely powerful point about art, but it's also just hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Just like YouTube videos. Ayo.
This is a painting, Buster.
Okay. Oh, a pipe. Oh, that's funny.
The caption reads, "This is not a pipe."
Oh,
Because Buster, what is it?
it's a painting.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the painting's actually called The Treachery of Images.
It gets it thinking.
The
Big-
Like I was pretentious enough that I made that the background image for my phone keyboard.
Hell
Ooh.
yeah.
But yeah, no, sure, podcast.
Podcast.
Should we even call this a podcast? Because that's technically the trademark term of Apple.
Is it?
Podcasts
Yeah, why do you
did
think-
originally come around as like for iPods.
Oh.
That's why they were called podcasts. They casted to your iPod.
Oh.
And we've just, it's been Kleenex.
It got Xanaxed hard.
Yeah.
Not Xanax. Xeroxed. There we go. I found the right word in time. We're safe.
I mean, if Apple already copied Xerox once, that actually got a chuckle. I'm so glad that my computer history joke got a chuckle.
No, I got it. Yeah, Bill Gates owes some people an apology.
Bill Gates does. Bill Gates does. Steve Jobs needs to be brought back from the dead and do so. The only one of that time period that doesn't is Steve Wozniak.
Yeah, no, we tentatively forgive Wozniak.
He tried.
He tried.
Gold star.
I forgive him because of what Steve did to him when they were making Breakout.
Yeah. And hey, he's still Apple employee number 1. He gets the fucking discounts.
Yeah.
And his business card is metal, and he uses it to cut food on airplanes.
That's how funny.
But this is a podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you engage with whatever fucking social media bullshit you need to. Like, comment, share. If you're on a podcasting platform, following would be fucking nice.
Wait, boy, we didn't plug all our stuff.
I was gonna plug the things afterwards, Buster.
Oh, I'm dumb.
Now I'm speaking in a mid-Atlantic accent, Buster. What are you gonna do about that?
Laugh.
Accurate thing, Buster. Tell the people who you are.
No, wait. I thought we'd do the guest first.
Save the best for last.
Okay, yeah, best for last. Hi, I'm Buster. I do too many videos on. I have too many video topics on my YouTube channel where I discuss. I don't know. I don't have a consistent topic. I just make. All I know is that my videos are usually short.
Buster, eat hot chip, make video.
Yeah, that's literally the video. That's my process. I eat chips, make videos on whatever I'm feeling like it. I made some cool ones. I made one on Common Knight Stronger. I made one ranking the Persona 3 social links. I made one on Tekken 8 story. Go check them out. Ooh, and also on social medias of various kinds. Ooh.
Snowdy.
My name is Snowbird Cobert the Lowbird, and you can find me at never_robot on Instagram.
Alrighty. I'm Boingo. My links are in the description. Click them.
What's in bio?
Oh my god, don't.
I was trying to think of a way to make the joke, but not make the joke, but I can't. So let's just segue. Ruby, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me at Codex Entry on YouTube as well as Tumblr. I might be coming back to Twitter against my better judgment. We'll see. Or Bluesky if that becomes a real website. And otherwise, yeah, right now I'm talking about anime. I'm going to be talking about games again before too long, though. And come by and say hello.
And I hope you won't say goodbye to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed your time.
I did very much.
Yeah. All right, now I'm going to click the stop recording buttons.